Hey, welcome to the Dre Way, dating after 50. Yeah, dating after 50, the Dre Way. And I'm Drayton Nay, I'm your host. Some of you have maybe seen me other places, but you're probably going, why are you talking about dating over 50? Well, probably because I have a lot of experience in the subject. And I want to talk about that first before I do anything else. Because people ask me all the time, because you'd be surprised how many people come to me for advice when it comes to dating, because I've been not just doing it a long time, I've been setting it up for a long time. And when I say setting it up, you have to remember that my background, if you look what I did for years and years and years, I either ran or owned some of the biggest strip clubs in the country. That's what I did as a young man. So when I say I have experience in dating and listening to what men want and setting men up, it's literally what I did every single night. Every single night, hundreds of men come into the club looking for that special someone to enjoy the night with. And they have varying tastes. They're looking for different things. Drayton, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. I want someone tall, I want someone short, I want someone who's good at conversation. It could be a laundry list of things. And after a while, you just day in and day out of doing it, you just get really good at it. Kind of like anything else in life, when you do it over and over and over again. And it's just not on one side where you're helping out men, you're also helping women get with men so that they can make money, so that they can make a connection. And believe it or not, a lot of times those girls are single and they're looking for guys to date. And it is the most interesting dynamic you can imagine, night after night after night. And you're playing matchmaker, the same thing, night after night. So after doing this for years and years and years and years, people ask me, they say, what do you know about dating? I'm like, are you serious? Because it's literally what I did for decades, matching up men and women, getting them together, putting the right Jill with the right Jack, knowing the personalities, being able to size up a customer, understand their personality. You can do that in literally seconds if you really get good at it, if you really know what you're doing, and if you know the personality that you're dealing with, you kind of know what kind of girl to set them up with. And I did that for over 30 years. So yeah, I talk about a lot of things, but I don't talk about many subjects. I talk about 3 or 4 different subjects, and that's about it. Because there's a lot I don't know about, especially in the tech world. Yeah, I'm dumb as a fence post. But when it comes to relationships and understanding what men want, because I have listened to thousands and thousands of men, I know what they want. And on the same token, I have dealt with thousands of young women. I know what they want. So it just became, a natural thing for me to want to do a show on YouTube and talk about dating after 50. It just made sense to me. And nowadays, people have this stigma about dating after 50 and how hard it is. And well, before I get talking too much, take a look at a couple of these videos and let me know what you think. I'll be right back.
Okay, let's talk about something right now. People are asking me, how's the dating going? Dating over 50. Want to know how it's going? It's a fucking shit show. It's a shit show. Is there anybody normal? Is there anybody normal? They're either an alcoholic, a drug addict, they hate their mother. Who hates their mother? A lot of fucking guys hate their mother. I don't know, con artist. I don't know. I think I'm going to be celibate. I'm giving up. Like, what the fuck is going on? I can't take it. Help.
Dating over 50 story time. So I heard to do this, and I'm not sure if it's a good idea, so I want y'all to leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. But here is my take on it. Basically, this is what it is, okay? It is like when you start dating somebody, you put, say 5 or 7 hearts next to their name. And then in the early stages of dating, when they do something like that doesn't make you feel good or makes you feel less than, or like they don't, communicate consistently, you take away a heart. And then once they have all the hearts gone, you basically should remove yourself from that person's life. I know that seems really rigid, but when you come out of a really unhealthy, toxic relationship like I did, and I stayed in that relationship way too long, way past its expiration date, something like this would actually help me. But then I thought, I don't want to be so negative, like I really am trying to focus on the positive. So I thought what you could add to this, and what I might add to this when I start dating somebody again, is, of course, take away the heart when they do something that doesn't feel good or they're inconsistent or whatever, but then add a heart when they do something that like is amazing and makes you feel good. And then of course, yeah, if the guy ever runs out of hearts, like you should probably, not continue to see that guy, because I have learned a couple of really amazing things from the guys that I have dated in the last, say, 2 years. And this, last guy, and even the guy before that, really taught me that I should do a really good job, and I think I do, of paying attention to how I feel when I'm with that person, but not only how I feel when I'm with them, how I feel when I'm not with them. So if because of their lack of communication or their lack of consistency, if I start feeling anxious, then I need to pay attention to that, right? And I also realize that it's maybe not just their behavior that's making me feel anxious, because maybe their behavior isn't that big a deal. Maybe it's my past, right? Maybe it's the past things that have happened to me that are causing me to feel anxious, but maybe it's not that. So I think a way to tell whether it's historic or if it's something that's going on right now in the present moment that's causing me anxiety is to, number one, investigate it, like ask questions to myself, ask questions to that person, kind of get to the bottom of what's going on. And then I can tell, like, is that feeling something that's because of what's happening right now or because of my past? And maybe it's kind of a combination of both. Like, I kind of feel like that's what happened with the last guy that I dated. I did feel a lot of anxiety when I wasn't with him, and I do think it was absolutely because of his inconsistent communication, but then I also think it was a little bit of my past that was bleeding into this. And so I think the answer is, like, just talk to the person. That's why I'm so big on being open and honest. And a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, you sound so needy. Like, well, I hope I sound needy, because I do have needs. And as human beings, we all have needs. And the worst thing you can do is play the cool girl and pretend you don't have any needs, because they're going to come out. Even if you don't say them, they're going to come out. And maybe they're going to come out sideways in the future. And that's not healthy. And that's not what you want to do. So for me, I'm trying to be emotionally available, which means I have to tell these guys how I feel when I'm feeling a certain way. I realize, you don't have to spill all the tea, and I don't have to tell them everything all the time. Of course not. That's not what I'm saying. I have a therapist. I have a best friend. I can talk to y'all on here, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm certainly going to still just kind of take a little bit of a break. I read the book Attached. It was amazing, and I don't know, but just leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of that heart situation with the hearts next to the name, because I can't decide if I think it's a good idea or not. Y'all let me know.
I've gone back and forth whether I should put my business out into the world, but here I am. I'm 54 years old, I'm a widow, and I'm new to dating. It is not for the faint of heart. It is not for the weak. You got to have a tough skin. You can't take things personal. So the other day I matched with a gentleman. By the way, if my children are watching, trust me, I'm not on Tinder, okay? This is Facebook dating. I ain't paying for shit. I matched with a gentleman, and we had a great exchange of banter. So we exchanged numbers, and we'd been texting for several days. Decided we wanted to meet for dinner. He lives about an hour and a half away. Even though he offered to come my way completely, I'm respectful, and I said, why don't we pick a place in the middle somewhere, middle ground, and I'll meet you. Okay, so we picked Sandusky. Perfect. He goes, that's perfect. I have a condo there on the water. I can work the last 2 days of the week at home. Let's go to the wine bar downtown for dinner, and we'll play it by ear. Awesome. Sounds great. I woke up yesterday morning and realized we never picked a time. So I messaged him and I said, I know you had an 8 a.m. meeting. I hope it's going well. We need to decide on a time. When you have a minute, let me know. Couple hours go by and he finally messages. And he says, hey, I'm so sorry. It's been a crazy day. I'm planning on leaving here at 4 o'clock. Let's plan for 6:30. Awesome. Perfect. Sorry you're having a rough day. We'll talk later. 3:50, I get a message. Still planning on leaving at 4. Can I give you a call? To which then I replied and I said, well, I'm probably not leaving till 4:30. How about I call you when I'm done? Nothing. I gave it up to you're having a bad day. It's stressful. It's okay. So I leave. I head out the door. I text him and say, I'm all done with work. You can give me a call if you like. Didn't hear from him. I got home and I decided, since I'm the brassy woman that I am, that I would just call him, and I did. And it went to voicemail, and that's fine. Life happens. I get that. But the first red flag was there was no voicemail set up, which I thought very odd considering the line of work that he said he does. So I left a message. Hey, Chris, it's Shelly. Looking forward to seeing you later. I'm going to leave home at like 5:45. If for any reason you cannot make it, or if something has changed, just let me know, please, before I leave the house. Nothing. Not a word, not a peep. Messages are going through, they're being delivered. I get dressed, despite my better judgment. I'm looking snatched. I look fabulous. I head out the door. I get in the car. I message this man. I am leaving. It's a 40-minute drive. There is construction. I could be late. If I am, I will let you know. And I head out the door and I go, and I'm on the highway. And I'm getting to the fork in the road where the construction is going to start, and my gut tells me to turn around. So I get off of the exit and I decide I try to call him again, and it goes to voicemail. I do not leave a message. I turn around, I get back on the highway, and I go home. I get home and I thought, you know what, I'm going to FaceTime him. Let's see what he's really doing. Let's see if he answers. Let's see, are you who you say you are? So I FaceTime this man, and he does not answer, and it allows me to create a video message, which I've never done, but I do. And I said, hey, Chris, I really do hope you're well. I hope you have not wrecked your car. I hope you are not in a ditch somewhere dead. I hope that someone in your family has not had a medical emergency, and that is why you are not responding to me. I'm optimistic enough to think that this man has not just ghosted me on a first date. I send my message and nothing, crickets, nothing, not one peep. I don't know if his wife found out. I don't know if he was married. At this point, who knows? I'll probably never know. I went on Facebook dating. We're still matched. Still matched. Sent him a message there, said, hey, hope you're good. What is wrong with men? What is happening out there? This man actually had the audacity at one point to say, well, you know, if it's late, you could just stay. I don't know you. I'm not staying with you. You know what? Ted Bundy was also charming, and look what happened to those women. I do have my smarts. I don't know. If you know Chris from Colton, who sells insurance and is in finance, tell him Shelly hopes he's well and that he's not dead. Okay? Y'all have a nice day. Stay safe out there.
Want to know what to expect if you're dating guys in their 50s? Listen to this terrible, tragic tale. So this is a dating story time. I've actually told the story once before on a TikTok, but I didn't do a very good job. A redo. I told it back in the spring, and also then there were just like a couple of thousand of us following my account, and now there's almost 25,000 of us, and there's a lot more of us that are in this situation than I realized. So ladies, I want to make sure that you know what might be out there. So I want you to go on dates and go out and have fun, but like go into it like an investigator. You know, this is the land of misfit toys. This is the pre-owned market. I'm 53. I'm part of it. I'm also pre-owned. I know this. I'm not trying to act like I'm perfect. You'll find that there's a lot of health ailments out there. So when you actually think like, oh my God, like this guy's like super fit and seems put together, and like it's exciting. You know what it is? It's like you're at like a garage sale, and then suddenly you see something and you're like, and you grab it and you're like, oh my God, I found a find. I found something. And you do match with someone, and you meet someone and they seem potentially great. Like it's exciting because you think like I found a rare gem. No, you have not found a rare gem. I am here to tell you, no gems when you're, over the mid 50s and up. No, there might be like some wonderful people, but nobody's a gem. Everyone's going to have their shit. Myself included. I am not a gem. So this guy, let's just call him Paul. Paul from Connecticut. This guy was 57. We matched on Bumble. Really, really, really handsome. Tall, slim guy. I want to say he was like 6'5". His profile was kick-ass. Always looking for the good things in life. I love my family. I have my 2 grandbabies who are my world to me. Like, he seemed like, it's like, oh, this guy seems so sweet and cute and nice and great. And I found a gem. No! Put it back on that shelf for a reason. Don't take Paul down from the shelf. I took Paul down from the shelf. It was right before Memorial Day weekend that I met him. So we had been texting for like the week prior, a little bit. And we were trying to figure out a date that worked. And he was like, I'm going for Memorial Day weekend. I have a lake house. So, my son and all of his friends are coming up to the lake house, and he's texting me over the course of that weekend. So he's telling me like the details of the weekend, like, oh my God, I had to wake up early this morning. The boys are ATVing. I have to go shopping and get them stuff. Like, what a great dad. Like, this guy's awesome, doing all this fun stuff Memorial Day weekend for his son. I later found out that was all a fucking lie. He was never at the lake house. He was in Chicago sleeping with a girl who was 26. Anyway, comes in on the date. This guy's like hyped up. Like he comes in like super amped up. Like I was kind of like, sir, are you okay? I'm high energy. This guy made me seem like I was asleep. I don't drink coffee. Like I'm the highest energy person you're ever going to meet. And I'm like, shut up. Just shut up and be handsome for a minute. Shut up. Let me take it all in. So he had been married twice. He was married for 10 years, got divorced, and then was married for 20 years. But he had like 5 kids from his first marriage. Like always interested, and I'm in sales, so I always want to like understand. And so it's called Discovery Questions. So I'm a pro at this shit. Like I can get anyone to tell me anything. Hasn't helped me. So he's like talking about how his 5th kid was conceived. I didn't ask him that, by the way. Tells me the story about how things weren't great with his first marriage. He was working in the city. He had his own company. He was in the city. 3 a.m, his wife calls him and is like, where are you? Get the fuck home. And I said to her, well, you better be naked when I get there. He's like, so I went home, and that's how our 5th kid was conceived. So I'm like, whoa, rewind. Why were you in the city at 3 a.m. when you have 4 kids? It's like, were you with another girl? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, okay, great. So you're a fucking cheater. I should have gotten up and left. By the way, I deeply regret not getting up and leaving. That's a whole other reason. Like that is more issues of like self-confidence and being able to stand up to a man and assert my, okay, that's my own shit. And then he's telling me about his 2nd marriage and how he lives in, like, they lived in this wealthy town in Connecticut where people were swingers. So this guy was like fully swinger community, and then tells me this, like what he thinks is a funny story about how one night, one of the couples that they were, that they would have party with, came over, and I guess they were doing their thing, and his son was home, that still lived at home and was in his bedroom upstairs. And the wife of the other couple had gone upstairs, knocked on the son's door, went into the son's room and slept with the son, stayed. And so the son comes to Paul and is like, Dad, I slept with Beth. And I guess, I don't know, the dad laughed, and he's like, when she wants more, she won't leave me alone. So he's like, yeah, so, I hid my son in my closet. And I'm like, where am I? Like, where is the guy who I matched with on Bumble who talked about his 2 grandchildren and being positive and optimistic? Who's that guy? Who did he send? I don't even know. This guy wasn't drunk. He wasn't drinking. I was drinking. Because I was like, give me 79 martinis and charge it to fucker face. He tells me this story about how him and his wife, his ex-wife's best friends, like, you know how you have couple friends that you're best friends with, and your children grow up together and you know the kids, and the kids are like your own kids, right? They had a daughter who he was very close with. She used to call him Uncle Paul, and he slept with her. And this girl lived in Chicago, and she was now a working professional. She was in her early 20s. Maybe she was like 23 or 24. He and the girl drove to the lake house together. Again, I don't understand how this happens. It's the 2 of them, and they were laying in bed watching a movie, and he said she just jumped on top of him, and they started fooling around. And I remember him saying, you know, and we liked it, so we kept going. Sister saw text messages on the iPad and told the mom, and the mom flipped out and was everyone's hysterical crying, blew up all of the friendships, and he's still in touch with the girl who lives in Chicago. And I'm like, what the fuck else is he gonna tell me? So I was like, oh, like, so come on, like, tell me, like, who else are you dating? Like, starts like laughing bashfully, and then he pulls out his phone and shows me a video that a girl had sent him that day, and she's 24, and it was a video that she filmed of herself just eating lunch. And I'm like, who's that? I see her 2 or 3 times a week, but we don't sleep together, but we do everything else. But so I'm like, oh, so you're dating this girl? And he's like, well, you know, but she's not my girlfriend. But so finally I say to him, you know, I will never date you. Would you say that? Why would you say that? And I was like, first of all, I'll never be enough for you. And he's like, you know, that's showing insecurity. Like, that's showing insecurity. I'm like, insecurity? It's called self-respect. It's bad enough I stayed on this fucking date. Date ends. He texts me that night. I had such a great time. I'm smiling, like, you're awesome. I can't wait to see you again. And I'm like, it's never fucking happening. The next morning, good morning. I woke up smiling. You're wonderful, blah, 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 you know. And I'm like, no. I went back to our first text because I started thinking one thing, and this is like a learning from this. So on Bumble, it shows your location. Like, I'm in New York, so it's going to say I'm in New York. But if I'm in Boston, it's going to say, if you open the app at that moment, it's going to say Illy's in Boston. And it's going to give you like details, and it's going to tell you like how far it is from where you are. I remember when I was messaging with him in the app during Memorial Day weekend, it said Chicago. And I was like, this guy lives in Connecticut. He's from Connecticut. Why does it say Chicago? I go back because I had taken a screenshot, and I was like, the lake house girl lives in Chicago. So I'm like, when you and I were messaging on Bumble, it said that you were in Chicago. But you said you were at the lake house, and you gave me like details about the lake house. But then you mentioned this girl that lives in Chicago. Were you in Chicago? He said yes. You made the whole thing up. So, not every guy that you go on a date with is going to be like this. But this is what's out there. This guy's out there, and he's got power to yield on the apps. So ask all your questions and fucking ask. Put on your investigative journalist cap. Do it in a slick way. If they tell you something, ask supporting questions. If they give you one thing, ask questions behind that, and you will uncover some bullshit. All right. That's all I got.
You know, first of all, I would not date anyone. You know, let me set this parameter before we get too deep into the whole dating thing. I can help out with this whole ghosting thing and why sometimes dates don't come off. First of all, don't date anyone that you haven't seen at least 3 times. When I say you haven't seen at least 3 times, there's now WhatsApp, there's now Snapchat, there's various platforms that you can be on where the 2 of you can not only just talk, you can literally see each other. And if I haven't done that at least 3 times, we're not going out. Yeah, I'm not doing that. You know, I want face-on-face contact. I want to be able to sit and talk with you and tell you, hey, I'm really looking forward to our date. You know, what else have you got in mind? I want to have just general conversation. I want to be able to sit back and just relax. I don't put a lot of pressure on dating. And that's the first thing I would tell you is don't put a lot of pressure on it. You know, just understand it's going to be a part of a day, a 2 hour, 4 hour. I always like to say 4 to 8. I literally have a shirt that says 4 to 8 on it. It says 4 to 8. And that stands for 4 to 8 hours. We're going to have a good time for 4 to 8 hours. That's what a date really is. You know, it's somewhere on the 4 hour end. Depending on the date, could be as long as 8 hours. But it's 4 to 8 hours. And hopefully you're going to have a really good time. But just don't put a lot of pressure on it. Just relax about the whole thing. And get to know somebody a little bit before you start dating. Because dating is a commitment. Dating is, I mean, you know, as you get older, you're like, I'm taking an entire day out of my life to meet with this person. So before you do that, text messaging and a couple of phone calls, it's not enough. I want to see you 3 times on my phone before we're going to go on a date. At least 3 times. And there's a girl that I've been talking to now. I'll bet you I've been talking to her for 3 months. 3 months. And she lives in another state. And I live in Las Vegas. We've been talking for 3 months. And because she lives in another state, of course, we haven't gotten together yet. But you know what has happened? We've gotten a chance to really know each other. We've gotten a chance to really talk some things out, you know, laugh a little bit, and kind of, I don't know, almost like build up momentum. And that's one of the things I want you to think about in all this. You know, hopefully on this show, you will come back and you will have a good time. And in the process, hopefully you'll ask some questions. I'll be able to provide you some answers and you'll have an easier time. But if nothing else, I want you to get from this first show is relax. It's just dating. Just be you and just be kind and just relax. I tell people all the time, you know how to have a successful date? Just be nice. That's the best advice I can give you. If he's nice, you're nice, and you just relax and be yourself and have some fun. If you can do that, I promise you, dating in your 50s, 60s, 70s, I don't care what age, if you go into it relaxed, if you go into it just to have fun, if you go into it with a real interest in wanting to know about the other person, listen to what I said. If you go into this with real interest in getting to know the other person, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. So, welcome to Dating After 50 the Dre Way. I'm glad you're here. This is the first show. Hopefully you take a little snippet away from the first show today, and that snippet would be just be nice. Just be kind. And always, one rule, I don't care if it's the man, the woman, the man, I have one rule. When you're dating, when you're going out with somebody, have the decency to give that person your full attention. Whether it's going to work out or not, I mean, you know, all dates aren't perfect, but at least give that person your full attention. You know what I'm saying? That's being fair to both of you. And just relax, no expectations, just have fun. On this show, hopefully you'll come back because we're going to have a new show pretty regularly. So please hit the subscribe button because we're going to have a contest. When we get to 100,000 subscribers, we will have a contest and someone is going on a date with me here in Vegas. Yep, you'll be flown out and you are going to have a date with this guy. Yeah, how about that? You're going to have a date with this guy. How cool is that? We'll talk more about that contest when we hit 100,000. But that's the Dating After 50 the Dre Way, the first show. Come back and see us often. Hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the like. We'll see you soon right here on Dating After 50 the Dre Way.